The studio lights burned bright, the cameras were rolling, and millions of people sat glued to their screens. What started as a typical evening episode quickly transformed into one of the most unforgettable moments in live television history. The energy in the room was electric, the air almost too heavy to breathe, as Joe Rogan leaned forward, his voice calm but steady, ready to speak the words that had been on his mind for years. "People deserve the truth," Joe said, staring straight into the camera. That simple statement cut through the noise, and suddenly, silence filled the studio. Even Whoopi Goldberg, usually sharp and unshaken, shifted in her seat, unsure of what was about to happen. The audience leaned closer, sensing they were about to witness something raw and real. For months, the media had been buzzing with speculation. Clips from The View, arguments, dismissals, jokes at the expense of others, had gone viral. Viewers argued constantly on social media. Was this show truly about open dialogue, or had it become an echo chamber where dissenting voices were ridiculed? Joe Rogan, the podcast host known for his unfiltered conversations, had watched quietly, waiting for the right moment. And tonight, live on air, he had decided that moment had arrived. "Here's the problem," Joe continued, his tone not angry but deeply disappointed. "Shows like The View claim to represent everyday people, claim to give a platform for discussion, but in reality, what they do is shut people down. They laugh, they mock, and they make millions of viewers believe that shouting over someone is the same as proving a point. That isn't conversation. That isn't truth." The audience erupted into whispers, gasps, and nervous applause. Whoopi crossed her arms, defensive, her face a mask of control. "So what are you saying, Joe? That women like me shouldn't have a voice?" She shot back, her voice sharp, her words carefully chosen. But Joe shook his head. His response wasn't an attack, it was something much deeper. "No, Whoopi. I'm saying every voice matters, not just the ones that fit a certain narrative. You have power, you have influence. But when you use that platform to silence others, to mock instead of debate, you're not lifting people up. You're dividing them." The tension was thick, but Joe's words carried a strange weight of sincerity. He wasn't there to humiliate anyone. He wasn't there to score points. He was there to expose a truth he believed too many were afraid to say out loud. And for the first time, Whoopi didn't immediately have a comeback. She sat back, lips pressed tight, her eyes betraying the flicker of realization. Viewers at home felt it. People who had long been frustrated with the constant noise of television punditry suddenly felt seen. They felt as though someone had finally dared to voice what had been hidden in the hearts of so many, the longing for real, respectful conversation, not endless shouting matches packaged as entertainment. As the cameras kept rolling, Joe softened his tone. "We're all human. We all get it wrong sometimes. But when you sit in front of millions of people every day, you have a responsibility. A responsibility to lift the level of the conversation, not drag it down." The live audience, once tense, now erupted in applause. Some stood, clapping louder and louder, until the studio shook with energy. For a moment, even Whoopi cracked a small, uneasy smile, not one of victory, but one that admitted she had heard him. When the segment ended, headlines exploded across the internet. Joe Rogan confronts The View, Rogan exposes media hypocrisy on live TV, Whoopi left speechless. But beyond the sensationalism, something real lingered. Conversations began in households across the country. Friends, families, and strangers started asking themselves, when was the last time they had truly listened to someone they disagreed with? Joe Rogan hadn't just exposed Whoopi or The View. He had exposed something larger, the toxic culture of shutting people down instead of opening up. And in doing so, he reminded millions that progress doesn't come from silencing voices but from facing them with respect and honesty. The night ended not with bitterness, but with a powerful message echoing across screens and living rooms. Truth, courage, and conversation are the only ways forward. And while Whoopi and the panel of The View would surely return to their seats the next morning, nothing would quite be the same again. Because when the lights went out, and the applause faded, people carried with them a spark of hope. That if one man could stand firm in the storm and speak truth with courage, maybe they could too.